All right, guys, we're back at lesson 5 again. Consider this lesson 5, but part 2, because in the first lesson we learned about 4 of the metric unit system units, and now we're going to learn about the ones that I kind of left out and put it all together. So just a little review. You want to remember that King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Okay, King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Poor man drank way too much chocolate milk. Sugar rush or something. All right. Um, these are a little review of the units. So the base units, and we call them the base units because we use these names inside all of the other unit names, just a little prefix in front. So the meter is about the length. It's a length unit, and it measures how far away something is, or from endpoint to endpoint, how long it is. And that's about the length of a guitar. And then a liter is about how much water is in a smart water. They actually bottle this, and you can look at it next time you're at the store, and it just says 1 liter or 1 capital L, and I'm telling the truth. So capacity, how much fits inside, and it's an amount of something. And then weight, how heavy something is. And a gram is our base unit for the metric system. And the weight of a paper clip is about a gram. So very, very, very light. All right. Now, these are the base 3 units, but we use these units to name all of the other ones. And those are on this chart here. So it's basically all using meter, liter, and gram with a prefix added on. And there are 3 larger prefixes from the base. So here's the base right here in the middle. And there's 3 that are larger, and they mean that it takes a lot of these to make this. So the one step up from base is the deca. Deca means 10. This is one of the ones we didn't learn last time, so this is new. Deca means 10, and so it takes 10 meters to make 1 decameter, and it takes 10 liters to make 1 decaliter, and so on. Okay, so if we go up 1 step, we're going up 10 units. It's a base 10 system, you'll find out, or you'll see. Okay, one more step up, we're in hecto. Hecto means 100. And so when we have 100 meters, we can call it a hectometer. When we have 100 grams, we can call it a hectogram. Okay? And then we learned kilometer or kilo last time. Kilometer, kiloliter, and kilogram all mean 1,000. It takes 1,000 of the base units to make this. Okay? So those are the ones going up the scale or up the ladder. They're getting larger as we go up. 1 kilometer weighs a lot, or one kilometer is a further distance than just 1 meter. Okay. Going down the scale, we have smaller units, and again, they have that root word, that base word, meter, liter, and gram, and all of them with this prefix. Getting into some smaller ones, we have deci. So deci means 1/10 of. So a decimeter is 1/10 of a meter. It would take 10 of these decimeters to make 1 meter. So remember, it takes 10 meters to make a decameter. Well, it takes 10 decimeters to make a meter. Okay, all of these are going up in tens, right? It takes 10 of these to make this. It takes 10 of these to make this. 10 of these to make this. 10 of these to make this, right? It's that base 10 system. It's kind of like our number system. It takes 10 ones to make 10. It takes 10 tens to make 100. It takes 10 hundreds to make 1,000. So it's very much like our place value and our number system that we use too. So yes, deci, we have decimeter, deciliter, and decigram, and they are 1/10 of the base. And then these ones we learned in the last lesson. So we have centa, which is 100th, and we have milli, which is 1,000th. Okay, so if we are making some conclusions on this, our smallest unit that we use in 5th grade, there are ones that go further down, but in 5th grade we stop at milli. The smallest one is milliliter, or milli, let's say just say milli, because it could be millimeter, liter, or gram. And then we move all the way up to kilo. Kilo is the largest one we use in 5th grade. Okay, and from our base units, we have 3 that are larger and we have 3 that are smaller, right? And what we've been doing with measurement is when we are given an amount of a unit, we should be able to say how much that is equal to, okay? So if they give me a number, let's say they give me a number of 341, okay? 341, let's say grams, okay? 341 grams. Grams is right here in the base, okay? But actually, I'm going to move this. I think I can. Let me try. Can I move it? No, maybe not. Oh, I can. Wait, can I move it? Oh, yes. All right, can I move this too? Yes. Okay, I'm going to move that over the base because that's kind of where, that's what it is. It's grams, right? So we're going to put that over the base. So 241 grams is using this unit of measure. Now let's say I wanted to change the 241 grams into decigrams. Okay, if I want to go one step down, that means that a decimal, using the rule here, moving down our ladder, we're going to move the decimal to the right. Well, there's no decimal here, so I'm just going to have to imagine one here and bring it back and add a 0. And so I'm going to have 3, 4, 1, 0, and then I will put DG for decigram. Okay, so these two numbers are equivalent. All right, so 3,410 decigrams is the same amount as 341 grams. Okay. Same thing if, let's say, I want to change the 231 grams into decagrams. Okay, decagrams. And notice deca and deci are very, very similar, like sounding, only an I and an A different in the two. So you want to be very careful when you're looking at the prefixes, especially, and the abbreviation. So in the homework or in the practice pages and even in the next example problems, I use a lot of the abbreviations, and that's why we have them available here. So for DESA, we just use the D. So DC, oh, this is supposed to be an M. DM for decimeter. I'm sorry. Okay, that's my first mistake. DM for decimeter. D capital L for deciliter, and then DG for decigram. And then this one uses DA in front. Since it has that A that's different, it uses DAM, DAL, and DAG. So if it has that A in there, then they're talking deca, okay? But anyways, deca is a step up. So using this rule right over here, moving a step up or moving up into some bigger units means that we're going to move that decimal to the left. Well, remember my number didn't have a decimal, so I have to imagine one back here behind the 1, and then I'm going to jump forward to the left, and it's going to be here now in front of the 1. So now my new number is going to be 34, and then a decimal after the 4 with a 1. So it's going to be 31 DAG for decagram. Oh, it's so hard to write with these. Okay. And all three of these numbers are equivalent. They're the same amount. It's just using a different unit to describe it. Okay, so 3,410 decigrams, 341 grams, or 34 and 1/10 decagrams. They're all the same exact amount, okay, or the same exact weight. Since we're using grams, this is weight, right? Okay, so this is our ladder. We're going to use this for all of the problems, and so you definitely want to become familiar, and this is why we want to remember that phrase, right? Because it's in order. So we have King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. That helps you remember the letters from largest to smallest. All right, let's go to the next slide and do some examples. So here we have the ladder once again. I have that same mistake. Let me fix it really quick. For the deci, it's supposed to be decimeter, so that should be an M. Okay, oh, that's beautiful. But that's an M, okay, decimeter. But all the rest are good. Other abbreviations are all using meter, liter, and gram. So yeah, we're going to follow the steps. If we are moving from a smaller unit up to a bigger unit, we're going to move the decimal to the left. We're going to bring that decimal forward. It actually brings all of our numbers back a unit and makes them smaller because we are moving into a bigger unit. So it's definitely going to be described as a smaller number because they're bigger units. Okay. So yeah, and then if we are moving from a bigger unit down to a smaller unit, we want to move the decimal over to the right. So we're just going to follow it down the ladder. All right. So first step is we look at what they want us to change. We are doing ml, which is milliliters, to dl, which is deciliters. So I need to find both those steps. First find milliliters. Milla is our bottom one, right? Milk. Then find the one we're going to. So we're changing from M to DL. Remember, D could be deca or deci, but since there's no A here, it's deci. So it's going to be this one. All right. So I need to go from milla, and I'm going to be going up the stairs, so over to the left. And I'm going up the stairs 2 steps, so that means to the left 2 spots. The decimal in our number that we have is going to go 2 steps to the left. Got it? Now go to the number that we have. There it is. And where's the decimal? Well, you need to make a decimal. So this is a whole number. It didn't need a decimal because it's a whole number, but every whole number has an imaginary decimal right at the end, right? Because after the whole number, we start a decimal and then we start the decimal numbers after it, but it didn't need it because there were no decimal numbers after it. So we're just going to put it there, okay? It starts at the back, all right? And 2 steps to the left means 2 jumps over. So we're going to go 1, 2, and my answer is going to have a decimal right here between the 5 and the 2. So I'm going to write it right here, 1, 5, decimal, and then the 21. And that's my answer. So we're saying that 1,521 milliliters is equal to 15 and 2100 deciliters. Okay, and we know that from the ladder. 2 steps forward means the decimal goes 2 steps forward. All right, let me change color for the next one. Okay, for the next one, we have Hg. H is hecto, right? So hectogram. Hectogram is here. There it is at the top, close to the top. Then we're going to change to DAG. So remember the D, there's 2 of them, but it's got the A, so it's going to be deca. That's this one, right? Decagram. Okay. And so that's just 1 step down, 1 little jump down. All right, 1 down. And since it's 1 jump down, that means the decimal is going to go down or back, right? So look at the number they gave us. We have a decimal here. Thank goodness we don't have to put 1. And then it's just going to go 1 decimal back or 1 jump back. And it's going to be back here now behind the 8. There it is. And we write our answer like that. So 1, 8 decimal. That's my 8. Decimal and then the 9. All right, that's 9. Okay, promise. There we go. All right, and so it went 1 decimal, 1 jump back, just like 1 step back on the ladder. And these 2 numbers are the same. So we had originally 1 and 89 hundredths hectograms. It's equal to 18 and 9/10 decagrams. They're the same amount. All right, let's go and do a few more. And actually, I'm going to get rid of this ladder. So this ladder is very, very helpful with solving our problems, but there's I'm going to show you a simpler way to write it. You might have to memorize a few things this more simple way, but like let's say you're doing the practice and the ladder's not there with all these abbreviations and such, you're going to have to, have a way to remember it. So the way I remember it is just by that phrase that I told you. And on my practice homework or on my test, if I'm taking a test, I always write these letters for measurement in the margin or up at the top. And it's King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. And I just put the first initial, okay? So King, remember, is kilo, hecto, deca, base, that's our gram, liter, and meter, right? Deci, centi, and milli. All right. If during the homework you need to open this video and go back to the ladder, or if you want to Google metric system ladder, they're definitely available for you. But this is just a shorter hand way to write it: kilo, hecto, deca, base, deci, centi, milli. King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. All right. And we're just going to solve a few of these problems together and see how we do. So first one I have here is gram. G, that's our base, remember? So that's right here, base, okay? And they want to change it to hecto, H, that's up here. All right, now they're not slanted at a ladder, but they're still going over to the left, right? So that means I'm going to jump to the left, 1, 2. So I'm going to take a decimal here in 143. There's no decimal, so I add one in the back. And I'm going to go 1, 2. And it's now going to be here between the 1 and the 4. Okay, and I write my answer 1 decimal 4 3. Yes. All right, there's a number, there's the first one for you. Okay, I'm going to erase my my jumping, but I'm going to keep my answers for you. All right, now the next one, let's do light purple. Let's do purple. We have 5 and 687 thousandths. Is it deca or deci? What do you think? There's no A, so it's not deca, it's deci. It's this one, all right? Deci, the smaller one, okay? So deciliter is here, and then we want to change it to milliliter, M in the front, to this one, all right? So we're changing from deci to milli, and this is going to take 2 steps back. So that means our decimal is going to go 2 steps back. So decimal is here, 2 steps back, 1, 2. It's going to be back here behind the 8. And that's our answer, and we write it 5, 6, 8, decimal 7. That 8 looks like a 9. Let me make the bottom thing for you. There we go. All right, and now the decimal's behind the 8 instead of up here behind the 5. It went 2 steps back because on the metric ladder we go 2 steps down, 2 steps back. Okay, let's change my color again. Let me see. I think I can find any color. I like this one. Now that work? Yeah. Okay, so now the next one is the CM. C is centi, right? Centi or centi, or however you want to say it. Centi. And so centi is here, is the C for chocolate, right? Centi. And we're changing to M. Now this is just one little m, and there's an m here for milk, right? But the one m by itself is not the prefix milli. Okay, you gotta be careful. The m, one m by itself, remember, is the base unit of meter. So they actually want me to change it to a meter. If it was millimeter, it would have 2 m's, right? Or if it was milli something else, it would have another letter after it. But since it's just a single m, they're talking about the base unit right here. So we're going from centi to base. So we're going to actually go forward this time again. So forward, forward, 2 jumps. Have we only been doing 2 jumps this whole time? Oh well. Forward 2 jumps. If I go to the number they gave me in centimeters, there's no decimal, so I add 1 in the back. And now I do my 2 jumps forward. 1, 2 jumps forward. It's going to be here now. That means this comma is going to go away because it's not 4,000 anymore. Now it's 42, right? So 42, and then the decimal, and then 0.5. That's a 0, kind of. All right, so 42, it almost looks like a 9, doesn't it? 0. It's just a big old circle now, but all right. 42 decimal and 5 hundredths. is equivalent to the 4,205 centimeters. So these two numbers are equivalent. This is just written in centimeters, and this one it's written in meters. And since meters is bigger, we have a smaller amount of meters to represent it, 42 whole meters, whereas this took 4,000 centimeters, but that's because it's a smaller unit, right? Okay. You might see some of these problems on our practice today, and you might see it on like the end of chapter test, but it's comparing, okay, comparing. So we've done a lot of these where we're just converting or changing it, but there's also the chance that you might need to compare two measurements. So let's say they give you two different measurements, but look, they have two different units, right? We have hectograms and kilograms here. They are not the same. Kilo is the biggest one way at top. Hecto is the next biggest one, just under kilo. But the digits are 3 and 2, 3 and 2. So how do we decide which one is bigger, which one is greater than or less than, or if maybe they're equal? How do we know? Well, the best way is to change one of them to be the same unit as the other. So I can either change this hecto to become kilograms. I can change hecto to kilograms, see what answer I get, and then compare it to this number. Or I can change this side. I could change this side, change it to hecto, see what answer I get, and then compare my answer to this number, and then we can see which one's bigger, okay? It really doesn't matter which one you choose, okay? I know in the last week, I wanted to always pick the bigger number or the bigger unit and change it to smaller because it involved multiplication every time. But this one doesn't have multiplication or division really because we're just moving a decimal, right? So it doesn't matter which one you choose, guys. It really doesn't, all right? I'll just do the one on the left. It's the first one listed. So I'm going to change the hectograms, 32 hectograms, and I'm going to change it to be blank kilograms. And whatever my answer is on this blank, that's the number I'm going to compare to this, right? So I'm changing this number down here, and then I'm going to compare my answer to the other kilogram they gave me. And if it's the same, equal sign. If it's different, I'm going to put the mouth to the bigger number, yeah? All right, so if I'm changing hecto to kilo, I got it, there they are, hecto to kilo. If I'm starting with hecto, that means I'm moving this way, up, forward, right? So that means the decimal is gonna go forward one jump. Since there's no decimal in 32, I'm gonna add one in the back, and then I'm gonna jump up one. It was just one jump, right? And I got 3.2, that goes here on my line. And now that they're both kilograms, this is 3.2 kilograms compared to 3.2 kilograms. So these two values are the same. They're actually exactly equal. So 3.2 kilograms is the same as 32 hectograms. All right. One more comparing one, and then we are done with this part 2 lesson. And you can go try your practice really, really soon. I don't know, that color. Okay, so this one, it's comparing, once again, we have km, which is kilometers, and then we have meters. Meters, remember, is just the base. So base is here, and kilo is way up here. Ooh, we got definitely some jumps to do. Remember, for comparing, you only have to change one side. You don't have to change both, just one. I think I will change this one since it's just on the left. Okay, it's the first one they listed. So I'm going to change the 6 km, kilometers, km, and I'm going to change it to be blank equals blank meters. All right, so I got to change 6 kilometers equals blank meters. Whatever answer I get here on my blank, I'm going to compare it to this other number they gave us. All right, 6 kilometers. If I'm doing kilometers to meters, that means I'm going to start at K and go back 1, 2, 3 jumps. that means that my decimal in 6, which there isn't one, so I got to make one. And I'm realizing I don't have a lot of space over here, so I'm going to write it again down here. Here's 6. Okay, there's no decimal, so I got to put one at the back, right? There it is. And then I have to do 3 jumps back, farther back. And so when I do 3 jumps back right now, and since there's no numbers back here, I need to add some zeros. So if I'm going to do 3 empty jumps, 1, 2, 3, my decimal's back here now, but all these open spaces need to have a placeholder 0. Okay, so when that decimal goes way back there, that means that the ones place is empty, and the tens place was empty, and the hundreds place was empty, so I needed to put some zeros in there to make sure that this 6 is in the right spot in the thousands, right? So 6,000 is my answer here. Whoops, 6,000. Okay, so 6 kilometers is 6 kilometers is the same as 6,000 meters. So this side is 6,000 meters, and this side is only 660 meters. Which one's bigger? Yeah, the 6,000 is definitely bigger than 660. So we're going to make the mouth go towards the 6,000 section. Remember, we said it's 6,000 down here, or 6 kilometers. Okay. All right, that's comparing. So remember, on comparing, you just have to change one side to be the same unit as the other side and then compare. Go ahead and give the practice form a try and see how you do, and have a great day. Bye, guys.